Hello everyone. Right, due to technical difficulties on YouTube, now original live play video of episode 2, it's gone over 2 meg, so we'll have to do it with me talking over the top and just shorten it. So basically we bet there, check to raise a pinch there on the end, on the flop. We don't get one, so we fire the turn. Charging all draws, 5s, worse hands, and the guy ships. He's obviously got a 5, so that's fine. We don't mind that at all. He's called with what looks like to be the incorrect odds to make his hand. So we've gained some Skolansky books, as you call them these days. So that's alright. Right. So the Ace-6 and that sort of hands. There's probably actually looking at that, I should have played that hand really, because you got 2 set out on you. So we in the cutoff to start with, you know what I mean? When the first guy Rendell folds, so not to worry though. The first video I made, we didn't get a great deal of what I call good spots, but to be honest with you, the videos I usually make a heads up, and heads up, as you know yourself, you get a lot of action, a lot of stuff pops up in 10 minutes playing 2 tails a heads up. I mean, you're talking 250 hands an hour on a tail, 2 tails, 500 hands an hour, divided by 6s. It's getting on for under 100 hands, isn't it? You know what I mean? So you're gonna, over 100 hands, you're gonna see a lot of spots. I think, well, compared to 6 max, yeah. Anyway, so 6 max videos are just a little bit slow, but at the same time, they're still pretty good, because you do get some pretty interesting hands cropping up. Yeah, so the 10-4 there, obviously, that's trash, but on the button you don't basically need a hand, and that's what I try to show in these videos, that anywhere near the button you don't need any cards. I mean, here, you're out of position, anything goes wrong with 6-8. But that guy's calling on the button, so he can't be that strong. Or if I had a good hand, I'd raise on the button. I guess you guys watching would agree. Yeah. So we fire out. Oh, sorry, we check there because the Jack Queen hits a lot of his limp calling range in my mind. When the other Jack comes, well, the chance of having a Jack becomes slim, so therefore our 8's worth more. There's a name for that. I can't exactly think of it, some kind of probability, but that's just the way we look at that. So that's pretty standard. What's happening on this table on the left? 10-4, and yeah, it's now Card Pro. He's pretty creative, I think. Creative as in, what's the word? I don't know how good he is, but he can think. So you automatically, if you can think, you'll get 1 point in your book from me. If you know what I mean, right? As long as I see somebody who can think, you gotta adjust your play. Now this hand's gonna show that. In fact, this is probably a good example you'll ever see demonstrating this. So Mr. Numps limps. He doesn't have a hand. Well, he has a hand obviously, but it's fucking weak. You know what I mean? So he limps in here, and we're gonna isolate him position. We're not having that limp. That's dead money for me. Card Pro calls, and again, I don't know how strong he is here actually. I don't put him on the hand he has. I can't put him on a hand, it's impossible. You just put him on a range basically. Queen 10 8 and a flush draw. So we flop pretty good, I would have said, for our hand. But the thing is though, what's the word? C betting this flop here, I don't like it. Now, that might be wrong, I'm not sure. Because I expect to get check raised a lot here. Right? So, for deception, we check behind. We've got a good shot. A pair might be good, but probably not. And a flush draw. So when we check behind, we never have a flush draw here, do we? Because a flush draw checks. So that's now, when I raise here, Card Pro can't put me on a hand. What the heck do I have? I check the flop, raise the turn. It looks like I'm raising on a flush draw to him. I'm guessing that's what he's thinking. I've got like the ace of diamonds or something. So he just open shoves on us, which is cool. He shows 7-5 of diamonds and we river straight flush, which is cool, like. But this is what I was trying to say to Doe in the forums the other day. Now Doe's obviously like, don't get us wrong, like I'll never pull anyone to bits for like their views anyway, but the guy can think, there's no doubt about that, and what he was saying in the forums is pretty reasonable. I think what he was saying. The only thing I always argue with that hand in particular, where we're arguing about whether he should call, whether he should raise, was that situation shown there against this guy. Because basically, if we'd have bet that flop, that guy can't continue unless he's a total lunatic, because that board is terrible. It smacks our range totally for like isolating, you know what I mean? And also, he just has to fold because he doesn't have a hand. So by checking there, we kind of induce him to kind of get involved. And he makes a pair. Now it's not a good hand, but when we raise, he just doesn't put us on a line. Therefore, he thinks, well, if you've got the ace of diamonds, someone else, well, I'm just going to shove. You obviously don't have a queen or anything, or you'd have saved at the flop. You know what I mean? So that's when he shoves, and we just basically induce that just by. I wouldn't say it was that clever thinking, but you know, it was just kind of like, well, we just saw a reasonable spot, and like just with using a bit of like basically common sense, we induced him to lose his stack, you know what I mean, which was good. This hand here we fired once. We've been called. The king's a great card for us because he doesn't have ace king, does he? Or he's re-raising pre-flop, or he's not limping in. I think he limped in, didn't he? So we can represent a bigger hand here than he can, and that's just a fact. If he did call here, I have to think really carefully, but I think it's we can represent the ace king there or a big hand and just get our money in. And we're not going to get called very often unless he makes two pair and we might even improve, you know what I mean? It is possible. So just sometimes spots where you're getting called in aren't exactly dead ends, that's all I'm trying to say. I mean, that spot there with the 8, he could have had a pair 9s there, pair 6s. I say we beat a pair 6s, but you know, he could have had a pocket pair. Just knowing we're going to see bet once. The king comes, we fire again. This pair's no good. I mean, he could have even had 10s or something like that, you know what I mean? It's, you don't know. You just don't know how they play on the cards. I know he's weak, that's all I do know, so I'm going to take advantage of that, yeah. Right, I'm just going to wrap it up about now because I'm just going to show this hand here basically anyway first. This guy, I know he's limping pretty strong, that's what I'm thinking. Wanting me, because I'm aggressive, to raise. Because he doesn't seem like a terrible player, as we saw with those 6s, you can kind of think. So when that flop comes down, that hits us pretty good, I would have said. Not great, obviously, but we make a pair, you know. And I wouldn't have said he has any of that, so he bets. I expect him to bet. His bet's pretty weak on the turn, so we call again. We're not calling because we think we have the best standards all the time. This is what people have to understand. We're calling here because we want to see what he's playing. And we're going to make a note on him, find out what he's playing, and that's that. Turns out he has pocket 8s, we lose the hand. So I'm going to stop that there, and we're going to continue for episode 3. Okay.